Nikki D from 5 Dog Farm, and today I'm coming to you regarding our dry camping situation and how we're storing our water. This is sort of an evolving thing for us. I'll show you. When we first started out, we had one IBC. Now we have two. Well, actually we have three because we have one in the garden, but we're not using that one yet. So we're talking specifically about the water that we're using to shower and clean dishes, as opposed to drinking. We are still buying bottled water for drinking, but this is for gray water use in the sense of washing things, keeping the household clean, keeping ourselves clean. We have a dear friend who has allowed us to come and fill the IBCs. We can't even fill half because of the weight. We're, I believe, at about 700 to 800 pounds, depending on how much we put in. And with the trailer ratings and everything, that's really all we can do. So we take it out to our friend's house, we fill as high as we can to get about 700 gallons approximately, bring it back, and my first brilliant idea was, let's get a water transfer pump. Sounds like a plan. So we did. We happened to be well, I wanted one for a while, to be honest. We ended up at Harbor Freight looking for something completely different and saw just a screaming deal on a water transfer pump and decided it was time to do it. It's something we want to have for our pond. We're going to build some other ponds closer to the houses. That way, if there is a fire problem, we have the water transfer pump on the back of the ATV trailer. We throw the hoses in and we try to take care of things if need be. But that's another video. So anyway, we get the water transfer pump instead of manually having to pour back and forth. Bring it home, get it all unloaded. Get the hoses hooked up, pump it out, clean it. Mr. Bluejeans looks at the small print. Hoses contain lead. We don't want to put that into our water. So back to manual pumping. I am trying desperately to find a food grade fire hose type thing. I think we're going to have to buy the hose itself and then find the fittings to add on, but I'll be darned if this is going to get me. I will find that, I will find the fittings, and I will get that done. So in the meantime, it's back to, and I'll show you over here what we're doing. It's back to manual. So what we've been doing is taking the 7-gallon jug that we have, our 7-gallon jug, which goes like that, and gravity feeding the 7-gallon jug from the IBC, which when it's full is either on the trailer or in the back of the truck. So we will, by 7-gallon jugs, fill the IBC in front here, and then place our empty one in back for filling again another time to bring back and manually pour into here. Ours are food grade. Be sure if you're going to do this, you get food grade containers. Ask the place that you're buying them from what was in it before. You can buy completely new. You can do what we did. We got a new food grade tank and we got used framing, or you can buy it all used. As long as you know what your tank is or what was in it, you're good. So there are two openings on the top. There's the smaller opening here in the middle. Let me get my hose out of the way here. There's the big opening that you can see here, and then there's the smaller one that you can use to put a hose in or what have you. We just opened the big one and using the again 7-gallon transfer method, we just transfer it in through here. So you'll see this was one of our RV hoses, also food grade. We were using this, but you can also see it is rather long. There wasn't enough gravity to get a good pour going on to fill our tanks. It would poop out pretty quick. So what we did was we went to a local small type hardware store and we found a marine hose. So this marine hose is actually a perfect drop for us. Mr. Bluejeans created a 4x4 pedestal to give us a little bit of lift. He's done two 4x4s on top of each other and made a square and put the IBC on top. Eventually, later on, and we'll show you all this too, we'd like to build something taller. We haven't determined the size yet, but definitely over 3 feet. To put the IBCs on, they will have a cover. I'll explain why in a minute. And from that cover and any other building that they are next to, we will be using a gutter system to get the water into these to harvest rainwater, and that'll make it a little bit easier than our water transfer method at the moment. So I mentioned a cover. If you don't cover, you end up with our little friend algae, and there's no denying it because your water turns a lovely shade of green. So what you need to do is treat your water. At first I thought, wouldn't it be easier to treat the water when it gets here? Let's just put the bleach in and we're good. You can't do that because the bleach doesn't have anything to eat. So you're going to have water that smells of bleach and perhaps even will taste of it if you're trying to drink it. So that was a no-go. We have to wait until we start to see some discoloration in the water. We covered with the tarp. It has slowed the algae down immensely, just keeping it out of the sun. Again, this is a temporary fix with the tarp. This is a temporary area, so right now we haven't put a lot of effort into building anything permanent. We're just trying to get through. So you'll see in the blog post the EPA measurements for how much bleach that you put into your water to take care of that algae. Now we're dealing with hundreds of gallons, not a small amount. But you can do the math and do the calculations. In this case, we have about 115 water, and I believe we're at 10 teaspoons that we'll be putting in today because we're starting to get, even with the cover, we're starting to get a little bit of discoloration. So I want to take care of that as soon as possible. So basically, it's, that's easy peasy. You just take your bleach and be sure to look at what percentage that you have. There is 6% bleach and there's 8.5, and you will see in the calculations from the EPA that I posted, and you can print out the different calculations that you need to use to determine how much for either the 6% or the 8.5% solution of bleach. And then I just used my handy dandy little measuring thing, opened that top that I showed you, and today it will be 10 whopping teaspoons into the tank. You'll also see our shower bag up here. We've been using if you looked at other blog posts, you'll see we have a shower station. It's worked very well. We're using it also as an outhouse with a composting toilet, so it's doing dual duty. This morning, it was cold on the farm last night, which was enjoyable, except I didn't think, and I decided I'll shower in the morning, I'm pooped. So I took my cold water, and boy, did I wake up. It was cold, but it's better than nothing. So the other thing that we are working on, and I think we finally figured out, and what I'm learning is it's more about keeping it simple than making it complicated. We need to get water into, well, we don't need to, but gosh, we'd like to get water into the camper, into the holding tank there, so we can take a shower in the camper shower. There's a 1-inch inlet for water storage. We can't hook up to the city water. We have no pressure, obviously. We don't have city water. So there's a 1-inch opening, and what I decided I'm going to do is take those 7-gallon tanks that I showed you, take our step stool, which I may need to put something on it to make it taller, fill the 7-gallon reservoirs, and put a 1-inch hose from the nozzle on the reservoir into the hole in the holding tank on the camper, and have gravity just feed from the 7 gallons through the vinyl tubing into the hole, may I mention food grade tubing, into the hole into the camper water storage. So we're going to be trying that here real soon. I'm hoping today we can get up to the store and get that vinyl tubing and get that taken care of as well. So at the moment, that is how we're handling our water storage. A lot of manual labor, but that's fine because at least we have water. Wells, we're waiting to get a quote on having the well company install a pressure tank, and there are many opinions on types of tanks and sizes of tanks. We feel for 2 homes, bigger the better. You're talking five people, 3 adults, 2 kids using the water, so we'd like to go with a larger, maybe over 50-gallon tank for that. Again, that's another post. We're not sure. We're just starting out with that. There's trenching, there's piping, there's water testing, there's all kinds of things that need to happen with that. So right now here we are with our dry camping water storage. I hope it's given you some insight into what we're doing. I hope if you're pursuing this right now, I've given you a couple of ideas that maybe you didn't have before. And if you're doing this right now and you see something you think makes life easier or that you're doing that is fantastic, please drop me an email, comment on the blog post, hit our Facebook private group, and let us know what you're doing. We'd love to hear about it. So thanks so much for following along, and this is Nikki D with Water Storage, over and out.